in this lecture we will be talking about the concept of environmentalism. In the previous sessions we have talked about various perspectives related to human geography, especially focusing on deterministic approach, possibilism. Then we talked about welfare approach and humanism. Now we would be talking about yet another concept which is known as environmentalism. Now most of the students confuse environmentalism with environmental determinism. It's very important to note these two are different approaches to study human geography. Environmental determinism talks about the deterministic ideas, while environmentalism focuses on the role of environment and the surrounding areas. So, in very simple terms, Ricardo, who was a well-known economist, tried to explain environmentalism as something that promotes green politics or green economy, I could say. It talked about political integrations. It talked about human disposition to society. And also, along with these, trying to sustain the resources for future generations. So what we call about is the sustainable development. If I try to explain environmentalism in very simple terms, we can say it focuses on three basic ideas. First is a better future. The second is, once you define a better future, how will you explain it? That means I want to balance the resources or check out the resource exploitation. So, understanding the resource exploitation and balancing the resources would be my another motive. And finally, the most important is conservation of the resources and further improvements wherever required. So these three are the basic ideas behind the philosophy of environmentalism. Now, as we talk about the aim of environmentalism, we can say it is centered to Earth. So Earth, its resources, natural resources that we have, that would be the focus area for the concept of environmentalism. Altruistic communism, that is selfless service to the society, I could say. Principles of non-violence, undertaking the concept of time, and finally the most important is fight for institutional oppressions. When I say fight for institutional oppressions, I mean not dumping into the areas of disadvantaged community, not releasing toxins into other territories. So it's basically kind of not only improving or sustaining the developments for future generations, but at the same time having a social responsibility or collective responsibility for the development of the society. So that was another perspective. Most of the people who followed environmentalism were huge followers, or I could say were greatly respecting environment as an important criteria for development. Now there were four categories under which we can understand environmentalism. The first is environmental science. Environmental science is a simple integration of the physical world and the biological world. So the wildlife, the animal life, the plant life, the flora and the fauna, and the physical world will be all studied under environmental science. So here is where we study the ecosystems, food chains, food webs, the abiotic and the biotic environment, the hydrosphere, lithosphere and the atmosphere, and the region where they meet is the biosphere. So a brief idea about everything around us would be covered under environmental science. Now environmental activism talks about social movements. A lot of movements in India, if you have heard the movements by Bishnois, Chipko Andolan, Apiko Andolan are some of the examples of environmental activism where people go forward to protect their environment. We'll be talking about more environmental activism in the subsequent section. Then you have the environmental advocacy. Environmental advocacy specifically focuses on policy formulation. So, protection of areas from hazardous waste, policy implications and implementation of those policies would all be covered under environmental advocacy. And finally, you have environmental justice that talks about equitable treatment and I could say not only equitable treatment but also meaningful involvement, I can say. It's a meaningful involvement of local people. So these are some of the things that we must know, or the four basic categories into which we can study environmentalism. Now once we have these four categories with us, there are two approaches to move forward and understand the concept of environmentalism. The two approaches are broadly classified as conservative approach and radical approach. Conservative approach is also known as maturing approach, and radical approach is also known as manipulative approach. Let's first understand these approaches one by one and then we'll talk about the differences between the two approaches. When I say conservative approach, my basic aim is to check out the degraded areas, to promote development in the areas that are not being governed by a lot of people. So, checking out the degraded lands. Then I will talk a lot about recycling of waste. So waste management, I could say, would be my another ambit. It rejected overuse or outrageous lifestyles which talks about overconsumption, a kind of society which you can say is seen in developed nations. So overconsumption or outrageous lifestyle is not promoted under conservative approach. It also talks about fighting encroachment. So the lands that have been illegally occupied would also be an area of discussion under conservative approach. On the other hand, radical approach is much more manipulative. It talks about active involvement. When I say active involvement, it talks about the processes that undergo the developmental change. So people are voting not only for the things that they feel will be beneficial in long term, but rather people focus on very short term goals and they want a kind of immediate feedback or an immediate result to a problem. So it talks about immediate outcome. It deals with the things much more personally. So personal involvement, active involvement is much higher in radical approach in contrast to conservative approach. As a result, this focuses on the idea of technology. It explains that technology not only overcomes the problem of mass consumption but also decreases the environmental impacts and promotes development of the society. So this was the main basic idea behind the radical approach, which encouraged people, I could say, it encouraged people in a more competitive manner to compete economically, to compete socially. So it was a kind of approach that focused on competition. Now let's talk about some of the differences. So when I talk about differences between, let's say, the conservative and the radical approach, conservative approach talked about moral principles or morality of an individual. On the other hand, radical approach focused more on competition. It said said, competition is the best way to prosper. So once people start competing, they will fight for new ideas, new developments and new things. It talked about ecocentric approach, which was centered to environment, the ecosystem and the life around them, while radical approach focused on technocentric approach. So it talked about developments that were much more governed by the use of technology. Now conservative approach, as we talked about, that it focused on fighting encroachment, working for degraded lands. So the main idea was the rule of conduct. So whatever should happen in a certain way. So that was an idea behind conservative approach. So it was rule of conduct. On the other hand, decisions which were made under radical approach were much more environmental friendly decisions. Now, conservative approach talked about maturing or a kind of maturing approach that talked about sustainable development. So it not only thought about the present generation but specifically focused on the future generation. On the other hand, radical approach, the goals were very short term. So it talked about immediate benefits to the individual, in contrast to sustainable development or development for the further generation. Radical approach talked about people or voted for people who worked for individual benefits which could give good results immediately, while here they talked about promoting development of the society as a whole and with a futuristic idea in mind. So it also talked about the path that God provides nature, the entities, and nature provides human being the ideas, whereas radical approach talked about that personification of God is unknown. I cannot personify God. So this was a kind of philosophical idea behind the two approaches. Now once we know the approaches, we must be very familiar with what kind of developments have taken worldwide. So when I talk about developments worldwide, one more philosophical approach that was part of this environmentalism was Jainism. And Jainism was an approach which considered Earth to be a kind of superorganism, and this Earth was known as Gaia. So it talked about the web of life, that there is a constant interrelationship between plants, human beings, animals and everything that exists on Earth. It talked about spirituality with different religious expressions, and those were expressed on the form of on the earth in the form of a kind of earth would be considered as a superorganism which would be prospering all those entities. So that was the philosophy of Jainism. Now let's talk about some of the movements that have taken place worldwide and also in India to promote the environmentalism. So let's talk about first the worldwide movements. The first worldwide movement, I can say, started in Europe. So after the Industrial Revolution and a huge development of coal and fossil fuel consumption, there was a movement that talked about that we should put a curb to the existing usage we are doing. As a result, the first act that was passed was known as the British Alkali Act. And this was an act which aimed to curb the production of soda ash, and this was a kind of act which tried to promote or tried to bring awareness about the air pollution that was taking place. So in around 1863s, there was a first large scale modern evolution of act that focused on air pollution. So this was a kind of development, I could say, that started in Europe. Then there was next movement which was known as Back to Nature. This movement focused on moving back to nature. So, however, we have advanced a lot technologically. We need to move back to nature and understand the developments. So, under this development, there were a lot of movements that started typically in Europe. So, Royal Society for Protection of Birds and Animals, then you have the Greenpeace movement are some of the backdrops that occurred in the movement which was back to nature. And this was mainly initiated by Carpenter and Ruskin. So they were the major propounders of this movement. The next was the movement in the United States. So United States, Franklin talked about stopping the waste dumping that was taking place. So dumping of waste, and also it talked about removing the tanneries. In this movement, he was helped by two people. They were Thoreau and Moore. So Moore was the proponent of the Yosemite National Park, and he was also one of the leaders of Sierra Club. And he tried to formulated the idea for the national park, that was Yosemite. On the other hand, you had Thoreau. Thoreau talked about people's relation to the environment and people's relation to nature. Under this, there was another movement which was known as a kind of silent movement or silent spring. This silent spring was a movement that was initiated to curb the use of DDT, because this DDT was a pesticide, and this pesticide was used in most of the farms, and this used to thin the eggshells of pelican bird. So as a result, there was a sudden decline in the population of pelicans. So what was important to understand was this movement led to formation of the US Environmental Protection Act, and also later there was the establishment of the Biosphere Reserve that took place under the Silent Spring movement. So Rachel Carson was a main proponent of Silent Spring. So these were some of the developments that took place worldwide. Now coming back to India, in India, since ages, lots of animals have been personified as God. For example, you have Hanuman. God Hanuman is monkey. Next I can say, they talk about Sukhdev as a god of parrot or parrot god. So these were some of the ancient ideas that started in India, but there were numerous movements that led to kind of protection of environment in India. The first is Chipko Andolan. In very simple terms, the word Chipko emphasizes hugging of the trees. So a lot of people came out and hugged the trees and said they won't allow any further cutting of the trees. So that was Chipko Andolan. It started in North India. A replica of this Chipko Andolan started in South India in the Kalesa forest, and this was known as Apiko movement. So Apiko movement started in South India in the Kalesa forest. Later on it spread to the Eastern Ghats, the Western Ghats, and the regions of Goa as well. So second was the Apiko movement. Then there was a lot of movement that took place by Bishnois, that was again for the hugging of the trees or the protection of the forest areas. Bishnois is a community of Rajasthan. The next was the Silent Valley movement. Silent Valley movement started in the Palakkad district of Kerala. And this movement kind of focused on, this region was a region which was a very rich forest with lots of sounds of birds chirping around. But slowly, these sounds of birds tend to disappear, and there was a kind of silence in the region. And hence, this movement was known as Silent Valley movement. There was another interesting species that has got endangered was the lion-tailed macaw in this region. So that was another movement that was initiated in India, and this region was later on in 1977 declared as a biosphere reserve. The next movement was Save Narmada or Narmada Bachao Andolan in Gujarat. Mita Patkar and Baba Amte were the main leaders of this movement, or some of the major names that you might have heard. So that was another movement. This was initiated mainly by the tribals who opposed the development of the dam, because they believed that the development of the dam would lead to submergence of the nearby area and problems in the vicinity of the region. And last was the bauxite mining movement, and this was the bauxite mines movement was in the Gandharbardhan district of Odisha. This is another interesting movement because this movement originated in a region which was rich in bauxite, and there was a lot of mining activities for bauxite in this region. But interestingly, on the hills where this bauxite mining was taking place, those hills were famous for, or one of the major sources of medicinal plants. Those hills had around 300 species of medicinal plants, of which 25 species were rare species. So that was one of the major importance of those hills of those regions, and due to the mining activities, there was a huge impact on the medicinal plants that could be seen in this region. So that was another movement that started in the Gandharbardhan district of Odisha. So these were some of the major movements which we can pinpoint were trying to focus on the environmentalism. So these are the basic abstract that we have talked about the concept of environmentalism. We will be talking about dichotomy and dualism, the last topic of the perspectives of human geography in the subsequent classes. For any doubts or comments, you can leave those as a comment below this video, and we'll be more than happy to answer any doubts. Have a good day.